All right, let's dive in. Today, we're talking about why so many of us feel stuck, you know? Like we're trying so hard to change, but we keep ending up in the same place. We're going to uncover how our earliest experiences basically create the blueprint for our lives. And, this is the important part, how we can actually start to heal those really deep wounds. So, have you ever done this? You've tried all the things, journaling, meditating, all the self-help tools, and you just feel like you're hitting a brick wall, right? You learn the techniques, you do them, but you only get so far before those old patterns just creep right back in. It's so frustrating, and believe me, there's a really good reason why that happens. See, the issue usually isn't the tools themselves. It's that we're trying to build this healthy, happy life on top of a cracked foundation. A lot of our biggest struggles, they're rooted in things that got messed up way back in our earliest stages of development, like before we even had conscious memories. To really get this, we have to go all the way back to the very beginning. The source material for this explainer brings up the work of psychologist Erik Erikson, who mapped out these key stages we all go through. And the very first one, the one that happens when we're just infants, is all about two absolutely critical things: trust and attachment. Erikson called this first stage trust versus mistrust, and it's basically the first big challenge we ever face in life. In that first year, our little baby brain is trying to answer one massive question. Is the world a safe place? Can I count on people to take care of me? And the answer we come up with, well, it sets the stage for pretty much everything else. So you've got these two paths that basically set our entire life's trajectory. If a baby's needs get met over and over, they develop trust, a secure attachment. They learn, okay, the world is a pretty good place. But if those needs are met with chaos or inconsistency or just neglect, the result is fear, anxiety. They learn the world is unsafe, and they carry that blueprint forward. The big takeaway here is that our adult relationship patterns are so often just an echo of what happened in that very first year. And that early mistrust, man, it casts a very, very long shadow. It doesn't just stay in the past, it creates this whole cascade of consequences that can touch every single part of our adult lives. You can really see the domino effect here, can't you? It usually kicks off with shame. A little kid just internalizes that neglect and thinks, it must be my fault. I'm not good enough. That can lead to fawning, becoming a people pleaser just to feel safe. And of course, that disconnects you from who you really are, which then can breed this deep anger, anxiety, depression. And if no one ever showed you how to handle your feelings, they just become totally overwhelming. Okay, I know that sounds pretty bleak, but here's the really good news. This is not a life sentence. Healing is totally possible. It's a process called reparenting, where you consciously start to give yourself all the things you didn't get back then. But it's really important to know this is not a quick fix. This quote from the source material is just so important. Healing years and years of foundational damage is slow. It is messy, it takes a ton of time, a ton of effort, and just a massive amount of patience. Honestly, the most important thing you can bring on this journey is just compassion for yourself. So, where on earth do we start? It's so tempting to think we need to fix our relationships with other people first, but the source material is really clear on this. The very first step is to turn inward. Because when our attachments to others were broken, our connection to ourselves got broken too. We have to rebuild that relationship first. And here's a super practical, simple way to start. 3 times a day, for just 10 minutes, you just practice checking in with yourself. That's it. You find a quiet spot, you scan your body, and just notice what's going on. Any tightness, any warmth? Then you scan for your emotions, and then you just sit with whatever you find. It's a simple but incredibly powerful way to start rebuilding that internal connection. As you're doing this, the attitude you bring to it is everything. The goal isn't to judge what you find inside or try to fix yourself. No, the goal is just to be kind, to be curious, and to meet yourself with compassion instead of that old voice of condemnation. That is the heart of reparenting. Okay, so once you start building a safer relationship with yourself, the next step is to begin practicing how to build safer relationships with other people. This is all about learning, maybe for the very first time, what a secure, healthy connection actually feels like. And the key here, this is huge, is to start small. This is not about diving headfirst into some high-stakes romantic relationship. No, the goal is to find a safe person. This could be a friend, a mentor, maybe a therapist, someone who is trustworthy and just doesn't judge you. This relationship becomes your training ground for building healthy attachment.
A massive part of this is completely relearning what trust even is. For anyone with that cracked foundation, trust can feel like this terrifying all-or-nothing leap of faith. But in reality, healthy trust is built slowly, gradually, through all these small, consistent, reliable actions over a long period of time.
To help really picture this, the source material points to this fantastic metaphor from the researcher Brené Brown, and it just involves a simple jar. So imagine you have an empty jar, and every single time your safe person does something trustworthy, they call when they say they will, they really listen, they keep a secret, you mentally add a little penny to the jar. Over time, that jar starts to fill up, and you have this tangible record of their reliability. Now, of course, nobody's perfect. Eventually, they might forget something or let you down in some small way. And in that moment, that old wound might just scream, "See, you can't trust anyone." But with this jar model, you just take out one penny. And you still have 499 other pennies in that jar. See? One mistake doesn't wipe out the entire history. This little model helps you move away from that black and white, all or nothing thinking and see that real trust can actually survive small problems and be repaired. And as you're building this connection, there are two skills that are just absolutely non-negotiable. First, boundaries. Secure attachment isn't about two people melting into one. It's about two whole, separate people choosing to connect. And second, repair. Instead of running from conflict, you learn how to actually talk through disagreements and hurts, which, believe it or not, makes the connection even deeper. Look, this is a really big journey, but you absolutely do not have to do it by yourself. Let's look at a few resources that can really support you. Just surrounding yourself with people who already have secure, healthy relationships can be a game changer. You can learn so much just by watching. Books and courses are great for giving you the knowledge and the framework for all this. And honestly, a lot of the time, professional therapy is essential. A good therapist can give you a safe space and actually model for you what a secure attachment feels like. So, we've covered a whole lot, from those deep wounds of infancy all the way to the practical steps of healing. But healing doesn't start tomorrow or next week. It starts right now, with one small step. So I'm going to leave you with this to think about. After everything we've talked about, what is one small, compassionate thing you can do for yourself today?